You know what this chick's name is?
What?
Her name is Chick.
No, it's not.
No, I'm serious. I've seen this before. Her name's Chick. That's pretty cool, because, like, you know, you can remember her name, you know, because she's a chick.
Mariah Carey dropped a bombshell on Twitter yesterday.
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey.
So Mariah Carey has a secret rock album.
Someone's Ugly Daughter by the band Chick.
Alternative rock album under the name Chick during the sessions for her LP Daydream.
I think during the pandemic, we all had like one thing that just caused us to reach pandemic hysteria. Like everything was weirder than the next thing. You know what I mean? Like everything that happened, the next thing superseded that. And it was just like a nonstop onslaught of that. And it still kind of continues to be. So I wanted to make a video about my thing that just caused me to I'm like, that's it. That's it. There's no other thing that could be weirder than this. I'm not surprised anymore. That's it. And for me, that was Mariah Carey making a grunge record in secret in 1995. This is not new news, but it is newer news to me. And I wasn't making videos at the time that this news came out. And honestly, it took a while to get to me because I don't make a practice of following Mariah Carey or news about Mariah Carey in general. But like I said, it was pretty much the apex of pandemic-related weirdness for me. So after that, I was just like, I don't know anymore. I don't know what would surprise me after this. Basically, Mariah was promoting her book, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, when she basically started talking about this record, and I want to kind of compile everything we've learned about it in the last year that this news has really dropped. And so I kind of went on a deep dive to do that. And so, yeah, this is everything that we know about the band Chick's 1995 record, Someone's Ugly Daughter. Mariah originally named the project Eel Tree because she had recently flown to Amsterdam and she liked the trees there because they looked like they had eels kind of coming down from the trees. But Sony Music did not like that, and that was her label, and they already didn't like the project at all because it kind of dampened her good girl image, and they didn't want to release this record, so they changed the name of the project to Chick. So Mariah's name was Eel Tree, but ended up being Chick. So Mariah enlisted her friend and ex-roommate, Clarissa Dane, to help her with this record because at first Mariah had recorded everything with her as the lead on the record, singing all the lead tracks. And the record label was like, we can't have this, it's too recognizable. And essentially they brought in Clarissa Dane to sing the lead, and they layered Mariah's vocals underneath. So if you listen to the record, there's a couple songs here on YouTube as of this recording, March 24th of 2022. There are a couple songs on YouTube. The full record has yet to be seen or yet to be released into the world, but apparently it's coming. So apparently it's on its way, according to Mariah. She was looking for the original mixes, the board mixes of her singing the lead. So apparently she did find the original recordings of her singing the lead, but not the board mixes, from what my understanding is of that. So there's a quote here I want to go ahead and read, and I'll put it on the screen. I created an alter ego artist and her Ziggy Stardust-like spoof band. My character was a dark-haired, brooding goth girl who wrote and sang ridiculous, tortured songs. So we are reminded of Mariah Carey, by the way, also kind of doing an alter ego so to speak, or another character named Bianca. Remember, she had that video for Heartbreaker where she had the dark hair and she was Bianca. So Mariah has done this before. And of course, in her single that came years later, she did actually tell us that I'm that chick. I played that in the beginning of the video a little bit. And also she was in the movie Precious, where she had the kind of darker hair and no makeup. And Mariah likes to play with like other names and stuff like that. So this isn't really the first, well, maybe it was the first time, but you know, she's done it since then. And even with the record titled The Emancipation of Mimi, you know, I know Mimi's a play on Mariah, but she likes to kind of, you know, play with different monikers. So this album was recorded at the same time of, like I said, she was recording Daydream, and a lot of the same musicians or people associated with Daydream helped her out with Chick. So I'm gonna go ahead and look at my cheat sheet so I can not mess up these folks' names here. If you're interested, Gary Ciramelli is credited as W. Chester on the Chick record. He was playing guitar, but he did the programming for Daydream. And then also Gary Ciramelli, I hope I'm saying that right, he did a track on a compilation with Clarissa Dane from Chick. The two of them sang We Will Always Survive on a various artists compilation called Friends for Life, Men and Women United in Harmony, on the label Polygram. So that various artists record also had some different tracks by Aretha Franklin and Elton John together on a track, Vince Gill and Amy Grant, and Andy Gibb and Olivia Newton-John. So some big names on that little various artists thing. So Clarissa Dane was Mariah's roommate, and they, like I said, brought her in to sing on these tracks. She's a singer, writer. I saw on some of her social media things that she was a writer and a producer for Sony. So I guess, I don't know if that came later or what have you, but Clarissa Dane, went to Mariah Carey's wedding. That's just another little tidbit that I did find out. So the next person on the record is Walter Afanasieff, and he's credited as W. Vlad, another pen name, and he played drums on the record, but he was kind of Mariah Carey's like writing partner for Daydream. He's credited on a lot of the songs as like the writer and stuff like that. So then we have Dana John Chappelle as the engineer. He engineered a lot of Mariah's stuff, Maya, 98 Degrees, things like that. So he was on the Chick record as an engineer. And Kurt Lundville was the assistant engineer. And we have Bob Ludwig mastered it, and Jay Healy mixed it. And Mariah Carey's Daydream was also mixed by Jay Healy. Then we have a composer credit of Rick Nielsen. And I was like, Rick Nielsen? Oh, Cheap Trick Rick Nielsen, because of the song Surrender. Before I got a hold of Chick's record, I didn't realize that the song that I saw, the title for Surrender, was actually a cover of Cheap Trick's Surrender. So that's why he has a credit on there. I don't think he actually physically had a hand in this Chick record. So yeah, so those are the folks associated with putting this Chick record out into the world. And we we don't know, like I said, we don't know a whole lot, but I did my best to compile everything here. And the record was released into the world on August 22nd, 1995 on Epic Records. And it clocks in at 36 minutes and 18 seconds. A little bit short for a record, but you know, they were having fun, and Mariah was just kind of using this record and this experience as an outlet. She felt kind of, you know, that she was feeling the trappings of fame. You know, every one of her moves is like, you know, managed basically. So there is another quote here. "I was exploring my musical range, but I was also filled with rage. It's always been a challenge for me to acknowledge and express my anger. My personal life was suffocating during Daydream, and I was in desperate need of release." She got to kind of, you know, at the end of the recording day for Daydream, shut off and transition into her alter ego. Around midnight, they would start recording, put on a blank reel for the recording, and they did everything old school. It wasn't, you know, digital or anything like that. So they put the new reel on and they went. And Mariah, there's a quote from Mariah saying that it felt very urgent, or it was very urgent, and it sounds very much that way, but I mean, that's just the beauty of the thing, you know. And I'm not here to review the record. You know, it's something that she did, she wanted to do, she kept it to herself for this long. I'm not here to pick it apart. It's, you know, she was trying to, you know, she was inspired by Hole and Garbage and people like that, Slater Kinney, but it doesn't, you know, it's not on the level of that, because this was a fun thing for her. So keep that in mind if you do get a copy of the record, because she wasn't, you know, she isn't Courtney Love, you know what I mean? So it was a good outlet for her, and it seems like she really had fun making it. So Mariah originally provided the lead until she was told by the record label executives that the album could not be released in that form due to worries it could damage her thriving career. So as the compromise, like I said, they brought in Clarissa Dane Davidson to provide the lead vocals. And Mariah's vocals were left on the track, but they were kind of buried, so to speak, in layers. So you can hear like a double, sometimes even more layers, double layer kind of in the vocals that is Mariah, but beneath that. So if you give those songs a listen, then you're not immediately hearing Mariah, you're hearing Clarissa Dane, but buried beneath you'll hear Mariah. So the pen name that Mariah used is letter D, Sue, and that was her pen name for the writing on this Chick record. And so my favorite quote that I found that came straight from Mariah's book: "I was playing with the style of the breezy grunge punk light white female singers who were popular at the time. You know, the ones who seem to be so carefree with their feelings and their image. They could be angry, angsty, and messy with old shoes, wrinkled slips, and unruly eyebrows, while every move I made was so calculated and manicured. I wanted to break free, let loose, and express my misery, but I also wanted to laugh. I totally looked forward to doing my alter ego band sessions after Daydream each night." So, like I said, Mariah wrote, produced, and sang backup on every track on the record except for the Cheap Trick song. That's pretty cool. And she, like I said, she also did the art direction, and I want to talk about that for a minute. She went over to Italy and apparently photographed a giant cockroach that was there, a dead one on the counter somewhere that they were at, and on a Polaroid camera. So that is the photograph you see on the album cover. It was brought over to Sony's art department, and I forget her name, but a junior art associate basically created the cover with the kind of smashed lipstick and the bug, and so that's where the artwork came from. And the videos predominantly feature Clarissa Dane, but we can see in the song Malibu, we can see Mariah Carey's dog. And then, I mean, no one at the time is gonna know, like, oh, that's Mariah Carey's dog, you know, but Mariah Carey's dog is in that video. And then in the song Demented, you can see Clarissa Dane at the end of the video. I'll show it here. Zoom kind of in, and there is a butterfly on her neck. So it might be kind of an homage or a little nod to Mariah. We don't know. That's something. So like I said, this record is called Someone's Ugly Daughter. And in 2010, Mariah was at a party at Brett Ratner's house, and Courtney Love was there telling everybody who would listen, I'm sure, that she needed someone to sing on a new song on her new album. And the song was called Samantha, and she had asked Billy Corgan, and she had asked Gerard Way, some other people, to sing this line. She wanted someone to sing this line. And she said, oh, they said no. And then she said, and then I heard a little voice say, oh, sing it. And she said, who's that? And she said, it's Mariah. And so Mariah was going to sing on a whole record. She offered herself up to sing this part. And I guess maybe at the party, or it wasn't very clear, but somewhere along the way she did sing it, but it never got recorded. So it never got onto the record. But you know, kind of strangely enough, that whole record, it came out, you know, in 2010, so much later than the Chick record, but weirdly enough, that record is called Nobody's Daughter. So very kind of strange, a little maybe possible coincidence, but that's Mariah almost singing on a whole record. That's that story. And so basically, at that point, Mariah had done everything on this record, kept it a secret, and Clarissa Dane kind of, you know, kept it under wraps as well. My question was, well, first of all, who was the band? So we kind of went over that, right? And were they session players? Did they have to sign an NDA? So we answered that they were people who were helping Mariah work on Daydream, you know, people that were putting that record together. So they kind of just maybe all brainstormed this idea one night. I don't know, but it sounds like Mariah was the mastermind behind it, which is, it's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. So another question that I had was, what is Clarissa Dane doing now? Apparently she is now Clarissa Dane Hughes, and she's currently working as a vocal and performance coach, as well as a photographer and videographer in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. And if you follow my channel, which if you don't, you should subscribe now. But if you follow my channel, you know that is where I live, and she doesn't seem to live too far. She lives in my old hometown of St. Petersburg, on the beaches, it looks like. So it seems like from a couple interviews that Clarissa never really wanted all the, you know, she didn't want all the fame or attention. She's like, I did a couple secret projects, and there's something to be said with like keeping them kind of quiet and stuff like that. So it seems like she kind of is a lay low type person. She has a family, and she's just living out here in Florida doing a photography business and vocal coaching. So that's awesome that, she has that kind of story, a nice party story. And it seems like her and Mariah are still on good terms. So with that being said, I don't know. I don't really have any other juicy details except for those couple things there that I mentioned. I did want to kind of talk about the lyrics on the record. I've always been really interested, really curious, really into lyrics. So there's a song called Prom Queen on this record, and it's one of the later tracks, might be second to last, but the lyrics tell the tale of a trans girl living in Manhattan. And that's kind of cool, and it seems a little bit forward thinking for its time, and I mean that's awesome. There's also a track called Joe that addresses anger toward a rapist, and I don't know, we don't know the story, of course. Is that real, or is that kind of a story that she's telling there, maybe someone else's story, or something she came up with? But yeah, that's an interesting song as well. But I don't think anything is as interesting as the song Freak. On the bridge, we hear her say, or we hear Clarissa and Mariah say, "Doesn't matter who you are or what you think of me." So that's kind of, you know, topical. You know, she was feeling very, very claustrophobic by the fame, and every move was calculated, like I said. So, but the song, like I said, is no other song on the record is quite as interesting. The reason I say that is because there are a few kind of cringy things on there that are just they didn't age well. There we go. That's a good way to put it. So if you are so inclined and you'd like to look up the lyrics to the song Freak by Chick, then go for it. So there's also a song Demented where there's a line, "It's almost like 18 hours on a carousel. It's almost like being trapped in a padded cell. I'm so demented." And on the track Violent, we hear in the lyrics there, "I want to spend your money. I want to kick somebody. I get violent." Then there's a lot of fun in the lyrics too. And we can tell like Mariah's kind of a like silly person at times. And if you ever saw her MTV Cribs, she has that like wild Hello Kitty bathroom. Well, I don't know if she has it anymore, but she had a Hello Kitty bathroom. Everything was Hello Kitty, and she has like a fun streak to her. So I wasn't really surprised by these lyrics, but it was still kind of like, oh wow. There was a line that says, "We used to be like Shaggy and Scooby, but now you act like you never knew me." Then also there's, "If I were Malibu Barbie and you were Suntan Ken, I'd probably dump your ass for G.I. Joe because he's macho, yeah." So some of the lyrics off of Someone's Ugly Daughter. There you have it, folks. Mariah Carey's grunge record. If you are so inclined, there are 2 music videos, like I said, on YouTube, and I encourage you to check them out. And let me know in the comments what you think, because this is just so wild. I mean, good for her. I love it, but it's just, I don't know. It's like I said, the pinnacle of weird pandemic occurrences. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing. I got a couple new subscribers this week since we're back. We will be putting out videos once a week, Wednesday or Thursday. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.